Hi, I'm Mike. I'm the founder of GoodBed.com. GoodBed is a mattress shopping resource that we created in order to make it easier for you to search and compare mattresses across brands and stores so that you can find the best mattress for you. We're excited to be here today because what you're looking at here is three different mattresses. The Leesa mattress here, the Casper mattress, and then the GhostBed mattress. And we've actually done individual video reviews of each of these mattresses, which you can check out. But we get enough questions asking us about the differences between these mattresses that we thought it would be helpful to put them literally in a side-by-side comparison. So the first thing we want to point out is just kind of the simple question of how we arrange these. Just to be fair, we picked price as the kind of sorting criteria here. So we have these organized in terms of price. GhostBed is on the left here. It is the lowest price. It is $750 in a queen size. Then you have Casper, which is $850 in a queen size. And then lastly, you have Leesa, which lists for $890 in a queen size. So we're going to start by just talking a little bit about the materials and the construction of these mattresses. And I think the first thing to say up front is that the construction of these mattresses has a lot in common. If I just were to characterize it, starting from the bottom, the one thing that these all have in common is that these are all foam construction mattresses. So their bottom layers are all a block of polyurethane foam. And then on top of that, all three of these mattresses have a layer of memory foam or some kind of memory foam. And then lastly, on the very top of the mattress, all three of these mattresses have either latex or a very latex-like material. So literally all three mattresses share that exact same kind of construction. Okay, let's get into the specifics. We're going to start with the Leesa. So the Leesa is a 10-inch mattress with 3 layers. The top layer is what they call a venifoam, which is a very latex-like material, but is not actually latex, and is actually kind of proprietary to Leesa. It's got a 3.6 pound density, and for all practical purposes, you can kind of think of it like latex. The next layer below that is memory foam. That's also 2 inches, and that memory foam has a 3 pound density. And then below that, you have a 6-inch block of polyurethane foam in a 1.8 pound density. Next is the Casper. The Casper is also a 10-inch mattress, and it has 3 layers as well. Actually, it has 4. It has the top 3 layers comprise basically the top half of the mattress, and those are about equal in height. The first layer is latex. And they don't actually publish a density on that, but we think it's around a 4 pound density. The next layer is memory foam, and they do provide a density on that, and it is 4 pound density. And then the next layer is kind of a transitional layer of foam. It's polyurethane foam, but it's a little higher than the density of the base, so it's a 2.5 pound density. And then you do have the base, the 5-inch polyurethane foam base, which is a 1.8 pound density. And last we have GhostBed. And GhostBed goes to 11. GhostBed has 11 inches, and it has 3 layers. So the top layer is 1.5 inches of latex. And again, they don't publish the density, but we think it's somewhere in that kind of 3.5 pound density maybe, based on their total weight of their product. The next layer is 2 inches of memory foam, which is 4 pound, actually gel memory foam. And the last layer is 7.5 inches of polyurethane foam in a 2 pound density. So now it's time to get real. What does any of that even mean? These are very, very similar mattresses, okay? So that's the very first thing to know from the start. But of course, there are differences, and we can start to parse those differences. And there's a few ways to think about that. For starters, you can start to think about which mattress has the most kind of premium materials on the top, right? Because those are the materials that you tend to really feel. Those are the materials that are going to affect the pressure relief in the mattress. And so those are probably going to have the most impact. So if you look at it that way, you've got 3.5 inches in the GhostBed, you've got about 3.5, about 3 to 3.5 in the Casper, and then you've got 4 in the Leesa. And then the next thing you might want to think about, well, is what is the quality of those premium comfort layers? Which, in terms of durability, you're generally going to want to look at the densities. And in terms of the kind of weighted average densities of those premium comfort layers, your GhostBed kind of weighs in at a weighted average of about like maybe a 3.8 or so. Your Casper actually would be the highest, so they're around like a 4.0 amongst their premium comfort layers. And then the Leesa would actually be the lowest in terms of the actual densities of their premium comfort layers. Their average is about a 3.3. So that's still confusing, right? But I think I can get you simplified from there. Okay, so what you've just heard is that the Leesa offers the most premium comfort layers in terms of thickness in the lowest average densities. The Casper offers the least premium comfort materials in terms of total thickness, but the highest average density. And the GhostBed falls right in the middle. Okay, so hopefully you're with me so far as it relates to those premium comfort layers. Now let's look at the support, because that's definitely going to play into the longevity of these mattresses. And we talked about the densities of these support layers. 1.8 for Leesa, 1.8 for Casper, 2.0 for GhostBed. But Casper also has that middle layer, that transitional foam layer of 2.5 pound density. So when you look at the overall blended average densities of these 3 products, actually Casper has the highest overall density across the entire height of the mattress at 3.0. Then you have GhostBed at 2.8 and Leesa at 2.7. All right, enough numbers. Let's talk about how these things feel and what the comfort levels are. Starting with GhostBed. Medium firm. Now Casper. Medium firm. Now Leesa. Medium. So for the next criteria, let's think about responsiveness. This is a personal preference type thing. Some people love that memory feel that is slow to respond. Some people love that latex feel that's quick to respond and bounces. So let's test how these compare on this front. I'm going to hold this 30-pound medicine ball at my waist. I'm going to drop it on each one, and we're going to see how much it bounces. Here's the GhostBed. Didn't quite get air. Maybe just a millimeter. That was Casper. I think I saw air. Now here's Leesa. No air. These are all very similar responsiveness, but Casper is the bounciest. Since we're having so much fun with this medicine ball, we thought we'd add another toy, a bowling pin. So we put this bowling pin on a little piece of tempered glass, and this is going to be how we test motion isolation. All right, here we go. I'm going to drop this on the Leesa to start with. Watch that bowling pin, didn't move much. Next comes Casper. Make sure it's the same distance from the edge. Here we go. Also didn't move much, but maybe even a little less than the Leesa. Next comes GhostBed. That one moved a little bit more. Next test, repositioning. Some people have a hard time moving around on memory foam, so let's put these guys to the test. Starting with the GhostBed, then to the Casper, then to the Leesa. Tie. All right, next up is edge support. I'm going to demonstrate the relative edge support of each of these mattresses by walking along this edge like a squirrel on a telephone wire, backwards. Squirrel dive! Tie. Okay, last thing, return policy. Surely there must be some differences there, right? 100 days, 100 days, 101 days. Not a tie. All right, so we've done a lot of joking around, but you actually have to pick a mattress. So if you've narrowed it to these three choices, how are you going to make your decision? Well, as we covered in our individual reviews of each of these are all good mattresses, and they're all good values. So you're going to be in good hands no matter which one you choose. So what's it going to come down to? Well, it's going to come down to a few things, really. The look, the feel, the customer service, and the price. These mattresses do not look the same, so you're probably going to have some preference on which one you like better. They don't feel the same either, although the Leesa feels the most different of the three. In terms of the customer service, these companies are all working really hard to make sure that if you don't like your mattress or aren't happy for whatever reason, that you will be taken care of. So the only thing I would say as it relates to customer service is please do not judge a company's customer service by the reviews on their own website. Look to independent websites for reviews. And lastly, there's price. Well, we already covered that there are some price differences between those. So obviously that's going to factor into your decision a little bit. So that's it. Those are your criteria if you're trying to decide between these three mattresses. So thank you for watching, and we hope you sleep well.